Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round, and I'm here with a very special, I guess you could call it a panel. You guys, friends of the channel, know the Delco Dork himself.
Gabe Riberio.
And we have another special guest, a man that I once fiercely debated Rob Zombie's Halloween with. Link to that in the description.
I'm Bax.
You've seen him on a few Dork Daily videos with myself.
I wasn't expecting it to be a Halloween movie.
So you just admit that Halloween 3 doesn't deserve the hate, and
I like
had
Halloween
more
3.
to do with people's expectations. But
Because
you're
of the name.
arguing that the reason you hate the Rob Zombie ones is because of those same expectations.
The fact that it is a Halloween movie with Michael Myers, though.
But
If you just
it's
call it
its
3,
own thing. It is not... And we are here today because it is a very special anniversary. It is the 30th anniversary of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That's right. The ultra 90s Cult of Thorn entry. So good, they rebooted the franchise just a few years later. This is an entry that kind of infamously has an alternate cut. And we're here just to kind of have an open discussion or argument. We'll see what happens. About the merits of the theatrical and producer's cut. So right off the bat, Gabe, let's start with you.
Okay. My experience with the movie?
Yeah, tell us just about, like, what are your thoughts of it going? I know this is one that is of particular importance to you.
Okay, so as a kid, I grew up mostly with the Nightmares and the Fridays as Halloween franchise. Horror franchise. And when I first saw the trailer for Halloween 6, I was 8 years old, and I talked to a kid at recess the day later, and I said, what was this movie? I saw this killer and whatnot. They're like, oh, that's Halloween. That's Michael Myers. And I said, don't you mean Jason? They're like, no, you've never seen the Halloween movies. They weren't prevalent to me at that point. So we've talked about Video Den and our Friday the 13th ranking. That was, shout out to Delco. That was a video store from our youth. Leading up to Halloween 6, I didn't see it in theaters, but after I became aware of the franchise, I watched all the movies in a row. And then when it was available to finally rent, I watched it. Certain movies from certain years give you a special feeling and take you back, and this is one of them. This is very fall 1995 for me. And even though it has some issues that we'll talk about, I like it a lot, as dumb as it is. Theatrical specifically is what I'm talking about, but there are some things about the producer's cut that we'll get into that I think could have been better, but also lend to better things than the theatrical.
I'm coming into it very differently. I know, like, it's hard to override that, like, early, like, childhood nostalgia. You know, what got us into the things we love.
Right.
My introduction to Halloween 6 was going through the series as, an 18-year-old Suncoast employee, kind of doing my dive into all these, franchises where at that time, Rob Zombie's Halloween had just come out. That was, like, my introduction, and then I went back and watched them all. And I don't have as many fond memories of Halloween 6. It's not the worst.
Not by a mile.
It is not. There's so much worse. But I can't say that, like, I love it.
It all comes down to execution at the end of the day with both cuts. And that's pretty much, that's why we're here. We're going to talk about what's different and what's more effective in either version.
Do I get to talk now?
Yes, you
It
do.
is, yes.
Okay. So it came out when I was in 10th grade, and the way he's talking about the feel of that time, I remember fall of 1995 very well, and I always joke when we watch this, that in the fall of 1995, I dressed exactly like Tim from the movie, and my sister dressed exactly like Beth. My back-to-school brand-new shirt that year was that hooded flannel shirt that he's wearing, and damned if my sister didn't wear a tie-dye with the green army jacket. Like, looked exactly like that back then.
And the Doc Martens.
Doc Martens.
Did you sue them for basing the characters on you?
Right. I'm still waiting for my checks, Miramax.
They based Danny off of me. He's playing with Power Rangers.
The way he says, those are the feelings I have with the fall of 1989. But I remember 1995 very well, and Halloween 6 is a movie that Gabe and I watch together 2 to 3 times every year, and we joke about it's not even our favorite. It's maybe like number 7 in my top 10, but for some reason it became tradition where we just ended up watching either version, both versions together all the time. I prefer the theatrical, and I always will for reasons I guess we'll get into, but I first got the producer's cut on a bootleg back in like 06 or 07. Sorry, I paid real money later when it came out legitimately on Blu-ray. I bought it. But I will always prefer the theatrical, but I'll let you segue into.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. So
Gabe, I know you've always said you prefer the producers.
No, I prefer the theatrical.
Yeah, we both do.
I said that I had a video on Dork Daily, if you guys want to check that out, about alternate cuts.
I'll put it in the description.
Yes. Like I said, there's things about the producer's cut that I appreciate. But because I came into the theatrical first, and there's a lot of things that, like, it really tugs at my heartstrings as opposed to something I saw later. Because I was going to bring up, because he had talked about the bootleg copy. It was circulating on YouTube for a while, too, so couldn't get away with that now. But I remember seeing the producer's cut in really rough format and on YouTube circa 2008, I think. And I didn't even know that was a thing. And I was like, whoa, this is vastly different. But when did you first see the producers?
I mean, again, I came into it going through the franchise where the producer's cut was a well-established thing. So I watched the actual one, didn't really like it that much, liked a lot of the other ones better, and heard, oh, there's this alternate cut that's actually better. So I watched it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's still not good, but it there are some things I like better than theatrical, but overall I think it is a bit more cohesive to what it's not ashamed of the Cult of Thorn, which maybe that's something you should be ashamed of, but if you're going to make a movie about it, commit.
Yeah.
We always say neither version really makes sense. And
No,
that's the
not
thing.
at all.
I'd heard for years, like, oh, this producer's cut is so much better and clears up all these questions. And then when I did see it, I'm like, no, it really doesn't, because neither version makes a whole lot of things clear about the motivations of the cult, what they're doing with Danny and the baby. I always say, does killing the family members make Michael stronger for them to control, or was Danny their new failsafe Michael and they wanted to turn him into killer and control him? Were
It's
they
also
growing the baby?
it's a huge gamble to pass the thorn off to Dr. Lewis,
Right.
who's 76. Donald Pleasant's 76 years old right
Were
now.
they growing babies to make ones for Michael just to kill off and get stronger? Was the baby going to be a sacrifice to make Michael stronger, or was that another child that they're going to grow into a Michael that they control? None of this is made clear in either version.
You guys have already put more thought into it than the filmmakers
Than
did.
most people that have watched
Than the people who made the movie
But that's
did.
what happens
And that's the problem.
when
That's
you
the
watch
problem
this
with
movie
it.
like 40 times. These are the things you think about. And you're like, why are you watching Halloween 6 that much? And it's not even your favorite. I know. Why did we start? Why do we...
Look, there is something hypnotic about it. When I need to clean my house, I put on House of a Thousand Corpses. I don't know why, but it helps me clean my house.
Yeah, I do just
I
one
don't
of the
know why.
guys- Just One of the Guys is my house cleaning movie, or DVDs of Robotech Masters.
Yeah, it's,
I don't
it's
know
just
why.
a weird that you need it in the background.
Yeah, no, I'm with
Something
you.
I think that really helps this movie, especially for me, especially when, unlike the 80s where it was just a plethora of stuff, we're experimenting with a lot more stuff in the 90s with horror movies. This movie is unapologetically 90s, and I love it.
And it's that weird period where it's the only 90s Halloween we have until the
H2O.
Scream reinvention of H2O, when all horror movies for a couple of years looked like Scream.
All
It's
that
the
Kevin
only-
Williamson look.
It's the only mid-90s look Halloween. The horror was in a weird place at that time.
It's the end of an era.
Yeah.
It's right before... I've said the same thing about Uncle Sam from 1996, that it's the last true slasher of its era before Scream, mere months later, changed. Yeah, you watch H2O, it's literally Kevin Williamson.
Yeah.
You know? They're like, hey, let's get him to
make
do it.
a Halloween
How many
Scream
of those
movie.
theatrical posters all look the same with the good-looking actors in, like, The Shadow?
But into the 90s...
We see you, Josh Hartnett.
The major franchises we're kind of croaking out, like we have
New Nightmare
Jason
was
Goes
the
to
year
Hell,
before this.
New Nightmare, which did its own artistic thing, but also Freddy's
Failed
Dead is the very
in the box
90s.
office.
Yeah. But the franchise is kind of sputtering
Even,
and dying.
even Texas Chainsaw Next Generation in
Yeah.
94.
Yes, also very weird and not good.
Yeah.
But Halloween, going on hiatus in 1989, and prior to Scream reinventing the game, we get one installment, and I think it sits in a pretty good place for where it is in that time of horror.
I mean, for one, swan song for the legend, the late great Donald Pleasance,
It will always have that.
and more so in the theatrical, young Paul Rudd with his ridiculous acting.
Yes, Paul Rudd.
He
filmed
got
before-
better. He got better.
This was filmed around the same time as Clueless. I think Clueless came out because they were tweaking this for the theatrical
This was
release.
filmed before Clueless, right? And
I think.
yeah, I think. I could be wrong.
I think Clueless came out because they're both 95.
Right.
But this came out in the end of September.
Paul Rudd, if you're watching, please comment and let us know. But yeah,
always wanted him to talk about it. He never does.
I know. If we ever talk to him at any panel,
he was going to come to Monster Mania in March 2020.
Yeah, we joked. We're like, there's no way you're getting him. He's a Marvel star now.
They were not getting him when Disney had him on lockdown.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I heard the only reason he's not in Halloween Kills is because he was busy with Ghostbusters, and I heard he probably would have been amenable to it. That's just an article I read.
But if they wrote Tommy the way they did with Anthony Michael Hall,
well, no,
I'm just imagining Paul Rudd yelling, "Evil dies tonight!"
Yeah, no. Dave, what's one thing we say we like better about the theatrical cut? We both agreed on this.
The color grading.
Yes, color grading, deeper oranges, fall colors. The producer's cut is very washed out.
Part of that, though, is I think when they were doing the producer's cut, they didn't have the time or money.
Yeah.
To that's expensive and it takes time, and Dimension was willing to do that for the theatrical release for just the producer's cut on VHS or DVD, whatever. You're not gonna. They don't all get $75 million extra dollars like Zack Snyder did to make the Snyder Cut, which, in a way, this is the Snyder Cut of the 90s.
It was talked about almost in those kind of hushed, reverent tones. Yes.
And the people who think it's the end-all, be-all, the messiah of the franchise, no, just the producer's cut. You just got to see the producer's cut.
And it's really not. As much as we love the movie, it's not.
And another thing, now, this movie comes off a lot more straightforward as just this silly, schlocky slasher.
Say that
5 times fast.
Theophilus Thistle, the successful thistle sifter.
Yes.
Peter Piper picked it. Never mind.
Amidst the mists and coldest frost. No.
And loudest boasts.
So naturally, if this is going to be a slasher, we got to up the gore with the kills. They altered the score to make it heavier on the electric guitar,
Brother Kane,
which I appreciate. Brother Kane, but the band that sounds like Soundgarden.
You don't like the wanky guitar, Michael?
No, I like hearing the John Carpenter theme because it's Halloween.
Yeah. No,
but again,
from 1995, it's like, it makes
sense. And the jump cuts.
But it dates it more.
Oh, it does. But I love the Brother Kane song.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm saying that in a Halloween movie, you need it puts it in the vibe.
Yeah.
Where the Brother Kane song does not.
Well, like a Blue Oyster Cult song on the radio works, in 1978. Brother Kane, I remember seeing on my Headbangers Ball.
Brother Kane is not Blue Oyster Cult.
No, they're not. I have a lot of Blue Oyster Cult albums. I don't own any Brother Kane albums. He's right. But for the time period, I'm like, I remember that band. They were on MTV. I remember Brother Kane. They couldn't afford
Soundgarden.
Or Soundgarden, sure. I don't know.
But what do you appreciate about the... I think, don't you lean a little bit more towards the producer's cut?
I do.
You're talking to him, right?
Yeah.
I do, in the sense that if we just admit and resign ourselves to the fact that this is a silly movie, a silly premise, where everything is ridiculous and dumb, let's go all in on the cult stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do a deep dive into the runes and the lore, and the Michael can't move because he's locked in like that toddler around the toy dinosaurs in the Walmart aisle from that meat. Like it just, it's silly, but it's almost like the theatrical version is a nerd trying to be a cool kid, and it's not fooling anyone. And the producer's cut is the nerd proud of what it is.
Well, the theatrical cut still goes into Tommy and his computer screen talking about the Curse of Thorn
and Sam Hain.
Yeah.
So once we get to the hospital, they just abandon that and it becomes just a Kelly spray.
Yeah.
And some weird stuff with that woman with the teeth.
Was that a woman that had been in the asylum for 20 years that was just kind of still there? Was she a member of the cult? Again, they don't tell you any of these things.
What's the deal with the fetuses?
Yeah, I already said that. Are they creating them?
The deal with the fetuses was the Weinsteins, ironically that it was them, thought maybe Michael fathering a child with his niece against her will is going too far. Let's provide maybe an alternate. Maybe this is how the baby was created.
You say the Weinsteins, but I've always had this in my head that Mustafa Akkad gets cold feet and never wants to commit to anybody being the killer other than Michael. Because in the producer's cut, they pass it off to Dr. Loomis. Which I don't know.
Well, it depends. I feel like the producer's cut is more... So you're saying that Mustafa Akkad is more in line with the theatrical...
I don't think they ever intended to have a movie where Loomis was then the new killer, though. I don't think they knew what they were doing with that.
It's him being forced into the cult.
Yeah, and also that he became Michael's new caretaker, I thought it would have. Okay. He is now Win, where he has to now be the one, yaha, now he's your problem.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that's what it was for years.
If I'm Dr. Win, I'm like, Hell, why didn't I do this decade? You've obsessed over him for this many years.
But also,
why didn't I do this in the second movie?
We said, why does he try to bring Loomis? Is part of bringing Loomis back in all a ploy to get him to be the one that ends up getting the curse? Like, hot potato, you're it. Because did he think, oh, he'll join us and help us with Michael? No, he won't.
You know what? If we know Loomis that well, it might be just like, I'm going to tug out his Captain Ahab strings. He's just like, he wants to take down
Captain Ahab and the White Whale. And I do like that a minor character that just briefly appears in the first movie, it comes back as a major character, even though they probably didn't know when they were writing 5 that that's who that was going to be. But let me say something about this. I know a lot of fans, I remember back in the 90s, were like, oh, you can't make Michael Myers some cursed character, and that's the reason why he's unkillable. Now, I never minded that as the explanation because I love 4, 5, 6 together. I do. And it's not any more off the wall than any other franchise reinvention. I don't mind if it's supposed to be some sort of ancient family bloodline curse. And as we've argued before, I like that way better than just making him a serial killer in a trashy family.
But you're admitting you're okay with him having a backstory and a motive for what he does.
Yeah, and this is the argument we had before.
But we're not having that argument.
Wait, I even think I said in that video that at least they'll accept that, right? It doesn't make him plain. It's interesting, he's cursed from the stars, because we've talked about Samhain or Samhain going back to Halloween 2. Yeah. There were hints of a curse.
No, we had
the bloody sister and the knife.
There's always something that makes you think
and Halloween
if they had committed to the Jamie thing and then having the telekinetic link.
The fact that he's in
go big or go home.
Right,
I get it. No,
if he's an ancient unkillable evil. I'm okay with that because it's still the great unknown. You still can't fully explain why some power from the constellations has made Michael Myers an unstoppable killing machine. But
you can't explain why in Rob Zombie's Halloween he goes from that scrawny little kid to the wrestler Tyler Mane.
He had a growth spurt.
He ate a lot of Wheaties in the asylum.
We see why he became a serial killer. Yes.
Well, that's the franchise's biggest problem in general. It's just we can't make up our mind with Michael Myers. Is he a madman? Is he a supernatural? What is he?
A madman.
A madman.
Well,
Michael was a monster.
He's only 5'9" in the first movie.
It was never meant to be more than just even John Carpenter will say
a guy in a man.
It was never meant to be more, and he didn't want to make the second.
He wrote it while drunk. He wrote it while drunk.
He didn't want to add to it.
That's why the first one is still truly the scariest, because he could have been anybody. He was just a dude that put on a mask, and that was terrifying because he just blended in. It was just some regular sized guy on the street and not a giant monster. I mean, even George Wilbur, he's a pretty big dude.
The only actor to come back as Michael.
Yes, with a break in the middle, which is strange, but yes.
I was always terrified of how Michael Myers learned how to drive by being explained to it by other inmates without any cars.
We always said
Dr. Wynn.
Dr. Wynn is the one that taught him.
See, that makes sense.
Yeah, because he's the one saying he couldn't get out. He doesn't know how to drive a car. Well, somebody here must have taught him. He's talking to Wynn, and Wynn's trying to cover Michael got out. That's if you retroactively make it fit.
I would give anything to see that delete. Now, Michael, put it in park.
No,
put it in park.
No,
ride the brake.
Yes, you got to use the clutch. No, you're in first gear. First gear.
Michael, remember your turn signal.
Stay in the car. I'm going to pump.
Yeah, right. But no, we've always thought that's a good headcanon explanation that Wynn is the one because he'd been trying to manipulate him for years. It works. Sure.
Again, it's ridiculous and dumb and silly, and at least there are certain things about the theatrical better. Yes, the color grading. Yes, I do like the gorier kills, but
it needs that.
Commit to the silly. Be proud of what you are.
Just like life.
Just like life.
And Jamie getting killed on the thresher in the theatrical version is way more effective.
It sucks that she goes out so early, but at least the kill's cool. Neither movie do anything with Jamie Lloyd, and that sucks.
But we've had this whole and discussion earlier. We were talking about, why it's not Daniel Harris, which fans are always like, why it's not Daniel Harris? But you would have had a much greater emotional connection to the character if it was Daniel Harris that you saw got killed off after being with her in 4
If it was Danielle Harris, the producer's cut would have been better for her fate because we stay with her longer. The fact that it's not Danielle Harris, you might as well just kill her off because I'm not connected with her.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And I just want to get this out of the way because we love the guy because he's just such an asshole. John Strode is the man.
Wait. You and that little bastard of yours. Yeah, great.
Just
character.
the perfect asshole character you want to see get killed.
Because as soon as he's introduced, you're like, oh, that guy's going to get it. Mm-hmm.
And of course, the Strodes nod to John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, so it's good for that to be in there. Kids, my dear Deborah, is
And-
what's ruining this country.
Yeah, right. And as you get older, you're like, yeah, that's right.
As a parent now,
I-
no, it's funny. I jokingly said that Mr. Strode reminded me of my stepdad as a kid, but lately now he wasn't to that extreme.
Right.
But I've said to my wife before, having a 6 and a 4-year-old, I'm like, when I was a kid, it always seemed like my stepdad was in a bad mood. I understand.
I get it now.
Now
I
you
get it now.
Yeah, right. Why do I have no patience as an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah. But wait. So
Enough of this Michael Myers.
Before we move on to heavier matters there, as evidenced by the scene here on the shirt, only time Michael uses an axe until Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, although that's actually in a dream sequence and didn't
So
really
it doesn't
happen.
count.
But even though it's an alternate timeline anyway, but the only time in the classic series that Michael uses more of a Jason-like weapon. But,
Do you want to tell the machete story?
A little variety there. Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta tell the machete
All right,
story.
sure. Well, you brought this up earlier, like, hey, tell Dave the machete story. I hadn't thought of
I'd
this
never heard it before.
in many years.
Just before we
In
filmed.
2008, I worked at the Bates Motel scare attraction, and I was Michael Myers in the corn maze. Originally, they wanted me to wear like a sack on my head. They didn't want to use licensed characters, but I showed them that I had 2 really nice Michael Myers masks, like nice, not store bought. Like I got them online years ago. I have a 1 and a 5, the one that no one likes. Anyway,
They had to pay extra for that because you wore the mask.
They didn't, and it's much too late since this was 17 years ago for anybody to get mad about this because it was a long time ago. But so I had a big machete, actually, not a knife, for my killer that was in the corn maze. And, I was Michael this night, and I came out one night, and this little kid went, Michael Myers doesn't have a machete. And I actually sat down next to this kid. I went, part 6. And the kid was like, oh, got it. And what did you say?
That kid that's a formative memory
Yeah.
for that kid who's now like, what, 30 or something?
22, yeah. I mean, this kid was probably like 5. This was like 17 years
What was
ago.
a 5-year-old doing at Bates Motel?
There was a little kid, yeah.
You went to base at 5.
This kid
What
came
was
through
it?
with his
I
parents.
wouldn't take my kids
I know.
to Bates Motel.
I want to
Base
say
at 5.
this kid was maybe 5. That's a guess. Also, we were having a running toll that year of how many people you could make pee themselves. And I think I maybe made 4 people pee themselves and run away. Or at least someone visibly go, I peed myself, and they ran away.
Pretty sure there's a fetish for that somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
link not in.
Link not in the description.
the
Don't
comments.
be looking that up.
We had a tally. How many people?
Leave a
did you
comment
scare
down
to pee
below. Have you
themselves?
pissed yourself in a corn maze?
Yeah.
Tell us about it, because
If you-
apparently we're into that.
If you peed your pants in fear at Bates Motel in 2008 and Michael Myers did it, that was my bad.
Let us know if you actually asked about the machete.
If you're that kid,
We're going to find that kid and
if you're
reunite
that
him with
kid
you.
and that's a memory for you, I'm sorry, or maybe you liked it.
In which case, you're welcome.
Now you like horror movies, but you apparently knew back then to a degree. Anyway,
Neither movie is good, and if I know it always comes down to like which one do you prefer. And yes, my instinctual answer is, well, I prefer the producer's cut. But if I really think about it, I kind of want to take the best of like if I fuse them
supercut.
and take the things I like from both of them,
Yeah,
you get kind of a decent movie.
I'm
Still
sure-
not good.
Somebody out there has probably put together a supercut.
I'm sure they have.
probably.
Yeah.
There's a Halloween 1 and 2 with all the TV scenes and the theatrical, but melded with the real version of 2. But
Okay, not the TV. The TV
No, it's
cut
not
of 2
TV.
sucks.
Somebody made a supercut of 1 and 2 with all the extra scenes from 1 and 2, like the extra scenes with Jimmy that makes
Right,
sense that you want to see. Yeah, there's a Blu-ray some guy made. He's a fan. I forget the name. I've seen it on Facebook. So someone should do that for 6, but not us.
If they haven't already.
He has editing equipment. You could make him do it.
I'm not
Post
that.
in the comments.
Get on him. Pressure him in the
I
comments.
have 2 children. I don't have the time to do that.
I don't, but I don't have time.
I'm
I
just
don't
too
know how to
lazy.
edit. Yeah. I like the theatrical cut better, as I've said. I
Yeah.
definitely, but I like Halloween 5 better than 6. But I'm one of the only.
Yeah,
ones,
I
so
don't know about that.
that's
I mean,
another video.
that one's not good either.
know, but I
but
could
yes, I
defend
agree it's better.
Yeah.
Well, what I can say about the producer's cut, even if I like the theatrical more, I don't think there's a vast difference to where the next Halloween movie that I would have under 6, regardless. I would still probably take the producer's cut over 5, personally. I know I'm killing you, but like, there's not a big drop in quality to the extent where I would say the next movie that I like in the Halloween franchise, or less in the Halloween franchise, would probably be higher than the.
I don't rank them separately. Like on my list, I just say Halloween 6. I don't.
Yeah,
rank,
I don't really differentiate.
I don't rank them as separate movies. But yeah, I think it's like I would put 5 at 6 and 6 at 7.
I've got one more story, Dave, because this always cracks me up. So when I told you about how excited I was to finally rent Halloween 6 when it came out, my dad and I were watching because we binge watched all the ones leading up when we were renting from Video Den. And when we saw it, I love my dad to death, but he has a cartoon character voice. He talks like this.
Okay.
And when at the very end, when the jack-o'-lantern's there, they cut to black and they get into the credits and it says, "In memory of Donald Pleasance, to this day," we quote this. Oh, shit, Loomis died?
Wait, no, you forgot what he calls you, your nickname.
Oh, Six.
Yes, it was Six.
Loomis died. Like, he's not Donald Pleasance to my dad. That's Dr. Loomis. Because
they are one and the same.
He's the man. So that's...
I've seen him in a lot of movies, and they're still one and the same.
Yeah. Even in the producer's cut, even if he has more... I'm glad he... Like, that's another plus side of the producer's cut. More Loomis, but at the end of the day...
I do like
if this
that.
is a swan song, that's probably part of the reason this movie's special.
Actually, we didn't even talk about this yet. In neither version do Loomis and Michael have an on-screen confrontation.
That's right.
Neither version have... Like, you got to give it the 5 that there's a great showdown.
No, there is.
Loomis and Michael. 6, they
leave it up to Tommy.
Yeah, they don't actually even cross paths on screen, and then it's Win at the end of the producer's cut when he goes in.
Yeah.
And the theatrical cut, which we do love, still makes less sense at the end when Michael's got green goo from the
Why is
syringes,
Michael just decided to clean up the mask real fast?
and then it's gone. Yeah.
What the hell was in the green goo syringe?
I think we could just... both versions are a testament to how does any of this make sense.
Yes, and we still watch it 3 times a year.
I think there's something to it.
July. We usually watch it in July. We just watch it in September, and of course, we're going to watch it again next month.
Yes, we are.
So, yeah.
But these are our thoughts and ramblings and rantings. You may have your own. If you do, get your own YouTube channel.
Not sound off in the comments. No, get your own channel.
Do it. And let us know in the comments, which version do you like better? What do you like better? Were you that kid that Baxter scared all those years ago?
Yes. And if you want more backs in these videos, sound off in the comments.
Say that too. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up trapped in either a Cult of Thorn meeting or in the room here with us, whichever is more unpleasant to you.
It's terrifying.
And
as always, every day
is Halloween.
See, that we got that on the first take.
We did. We're actors.
Rob Zombies is still better.
Garbage.
No, cut!